Welcome to the show, after the show, it happens right after the show. Cheers!
New Captain America.
Man.
Who's it gonna be?
This is one where, I don't even know that we have that much evidence supporting it other than I feel like it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's so powerful. It's such a cool storyline.
Yeah.
And I think it was hard to go into a whole lot of detail in the video, but there are so many reports about the future of the Avengers series and what's to come for the MCU. Obviously, Avengers 4 is going to be the end of the storyline as we know it.
Right.
They're not going to stop making superhero movies.
No. But you got to start a new, you've had Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, all of which has been leading up to Thanos.
Right.
That's its own, all right, boom, we're done. This generation is over, next gen. Now, obviously, some people everyone still, carries over. The story continues.
Well, and I think the great thing about it is that it leaves immense opportunity for all of the original heroes to continue to be in the series here, there, everywhere.
Right.
It allows them to come back as, leaders in a more worldwide capacity. So, the events of Civil War, for example, the big feud between Iron Man and Cap is basically Cap thinks the most responsible hands are their own.
Yeah.
They are there to make the world a safer place. They are there to go and fight bad.
Right.
And I think his fear is that the people who will govern them won't be qualified.
Right. It even makes sense, as I'm thinking about it right now, that after the events of Infinity War, it might be clear to Tony that, obviously the Sokovia Accords didn't help at all. It was just down to them anyway.
Right. When a true threat actually meets Earth, it's regardless of whether or not there is this thing in place, you have to send the right defense to go.
Oh, can't you see there I can see this too, the agreement or the feud ending with sure, we need governing people, but the governing people need to be us.
Right.
That's where Tony can still live.
He's on the council.
He's on the council that tells the Avengers where to go.
But he isn't Iron Man.
But he's not Iron Man. But he can't be involved in the action because that's a conflict of interest or something.
Right.
I can see something like that.
That's honestly I think I had a couple of different ways that I thought that this video could go, and one of them was that Cap dies, which I think is likely.
I think it's pretty likely.
The other end of it would be Cap surviving, but then Cap being the person who sits on that council with Tony.
Sure. Yeah. It's tricky because it's almost the problem is that no one ever really dies in a Marvel movie, especially or at least the heroes anyway. It seems but if you're gonna have a big character death, this is the moment to do it. At the end of this huge arc,
right?
And
who if there's not a better character that's more impactful,
right,
to have go down because where Thor is a crazy powerful character, he's not he's not the leader of the Avengers.
No.
There's even the line in Infinity War is I don't know, I don't know who's in it now or whatever. Earth's mightiest defenders.
Yeah.
It's almost like a club that Thor's in at school.
Right.
It's yes, I'm part of the Avengers, but also I'm part of the football team and all of the other things.
Got a lot of things happening in my house, God.
Right.
Yeah.
He's almost got bigger fish to fry at times.
Sure.
Yeah.
God stuff.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. And I don't know. There's some other details that we didn't include in this particular video, but kind of the idea of the Marvel movies going in a direction that becomes more heavily driven by strong female characters.
Yeah.
That's one where there is precedent for Shuri to take over the Black Panther helm, which is, I guess, possible. She's a super likable character.
Yeah, everyone likes her. The problem with that one, I feel is that Black Panther itself was so successful. To make such a change.
Right. I think people would be disappointed that they didn't get to see more Chadwick Boseman
as Black Panther.
Yeah.
But I could totally see Shuri taking on the mantle in Avengers 4 to help save everyone.
Right.
That could be fun because then they could just both do it, right?
Right.
You know?
Like at some point in time, it's like in the Black Panther movie, it's like you can't have two Black Panthers. Like that's against the code. But it's like once we get away from that a little bit, and it's like brother and sister, it's like we can do it because
she did. It
What's
was
the big
fine.
deal?
You know, he's the king anyway. Sometimes you gotta fake people out or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's fine.
No,
I can see that.
I could see that. I think we're gonna see Natasha continue to be like a big time leader.
Because we know she's getting her own movie.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that even kind of in keeping with the idea that maybe we're going to see some slightly younger heroes come into the fold.
Yeah. Well, the big one you're going to have is Captain Marvel coming in, who...
Yes.
And so the fact is that she's also called Captain, which is sort of a thing. So it's like, I don't know if it's confusing for fans to have Captain America and Captain Marvel, but we didn't even talk about this in the video, but I would imagine if Morgan Stark is the one to like pick up the shield, that she's not like a reproduction of Captain America's powers. I imagine she's like a combination of
Iron Man and Cap, right?
Of Iron Man and Cap.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the thing I love about that though is that even so symbolically perfectly represents like the resolution between Iron Man and Cap.
Yes, it does.
Like to have like their two technologies sort of come together in that way.
Yeah.
It's pretty perfect.
Yeah, it is. And there is a character called Iron Patriot who basically sort of is this.
Okay.
But they sort of already used it in Iron Man 3.
Right.
So I don't know exactly how it would go. There's also the potential for her to have some sort of like internal extra powers too, because Pepper, even though they like removed the powers from her, it's a comic book, so you could easily be like, well, there was some lingering
genetic material
that you couldn't use it, but the genetic material was altered, and now you've got pyrokinesis powers or whatever.
And because she was born into it, like she's going to be able to harness it better than if it was like afflicted to you.
Sure.
Yeah.
So she'll have her own powers with the shield and with the suit, maybe, or whatever. Morgan Stark's going to be a character.
Oh, yeah. And I don't understand why they don't just hire us to come write these movies.
I mean, we've just got it all figured out, right?
If somebody could just tweet the guys and let them know that we're here and ready to go.
Ready to go.
We wear the hoodies.
Right there.
Yeah.
On the hoodie.
And until next time.
Bye.
Bye.